the sound of the Kila beatbox body part sample pack. Over 120 loops, samples, and one-shots for your music production. Exclusively on Splice.
We need sneakers. Hey, check it out. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the entrepreneurial skills of a man that is embedded in the sneaker history of the UK. This man, radio DJ, Soho Radio, All City Show, Sneaker Freak. It's the man like the Kish man. How's that?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
we can.
Hey,
I came with it.
I think you should do that.
Yeah?
You should get on stage and do something.
Yeah, you got potential like that,
right?
kid.
You know what I mean? You can do that thing. No, but you can do. You've done comparing, no?
Yeah.
You've done a fair bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done. You know what it's like, innit? It's like, it's that. What's his name?
Mean cup of tea, by the way.
Oh yes.
Yo, Lee with a cup of tea. It rhymes, yo.
See, I get a lot of love
Lee's
for my tea.
teas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I get a lot of love for my tea. What's the guy's name from Black Flag?
Henry Rollins.
Helen Rollins.
Yeah.
He had a theory that, you know, just work,
Yeah.
adapt,
Yeah.
and work to any.
Evolve.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what the thing I'm about. It's like, you know, you got life. You're born. You eat and die.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in between? Are you just going to stay the same and just meander, or are you going to try to, you know, become, you know, just become, you know, explore, gain knowledge, teach and educate, which is the important thing to make sure that the subsequent generations are better than the previous in quite a lot of respects.
I think there is. I think there's something to be said about what we give back at the end of the journey.
Yeah.
What have you really contributed?
Yeah.
It's the push, the pull, and the why.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I might have to nick that. Yeah.
It's important to have a why, though, isn't it? Because what are you doing it for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Otherwise, there's no purpose.
No, there's no.
You know what I mean?
There's no purpose whatsoever.
Exactly.
And I kind of I'd hate to think that, you know, you spend half your life just kind of going along to get along.
Yeah.
That
I
would
mean,
just
there's a lot of
suck.
people like that, I suppose. And the thing is, I guess the reasons for those people doing that is to give you the scale, is to give you the level of which you want to be, you know, excelling against. So there's people out there who just meander through life, but you have to have people who meander through life. So you know what meandering is, if you get my point. That's the irony of the situation. And then there's other people out there whose role it is to make life a little bit more exciting, or illuminate life, or, you know, just to, you know, express at the end of the day, and then entertain everyone else, you know. Otherwise, life would just be drab. It would just be grey.
Yeah.
We don't want a grey life.
So in a situation, let's talk of an extreme. So you got your Trump,
Yeah.
and then you got your Obama.
Yeah.
Now Obama was really nice and cozy. It was like a jacket that you knew was fitting you well, and it's nice.
Yeah.
But then comes in Trump. Arguably, based on that theory, which I kind of agree with, you kind of have to have the good guy and the bad guy.
Yeah. Because what? How do you equate? How do you define what is good if there is no bad to go against what is good? You see, you need the yin and the yang. Without both, you don't have the complete, and you don't have a complete perspective.
Yeah, totally.
You just have a thing. You know?
Yeah, totally, dude.
Yeah.
And this is a theory that I've been thinking about, which kind of correlates with that, and that's the act of discipline in your life. Like when you're going through something, like if you break it down to its smallest, and you look at it from an outsider's point of view, and because with discipline, it's when you was a kid, it was never a cool thing to have. Discipline, that sucks. But as soon as you're putting yourself into discipline, those things, those big problems and those situations, you micromanage them.
That's
which
right.
makes life so much more easier. And then all of a sudden you have freedom.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there is that. But the other thing is about discipline is that you realise as you get older, you do need discipline. Otherwise, there's just no structure.
Yeah, totally.
Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, you have to have a fluid dynamic though as well within that structure. So it's kind of, you know, I mean, you know, it's kind of like almost like they have to coexist at the same time, even though they're kind of like opposite. You know what I mean? But, you know, you have to have a fluid structure. You know what I mean? And structure suggests rigidity, right? But it's not about that, because you can have fluidity within the rigidity. Because, you know, say like you got, like, okay, look at a river, right? The river's got the banks, the banks provide the river with structure, but what's going on in between is kind of chaotic and stuff's happening in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
You know, like that. So that could be an
That's
analogy.
a good analogy.
You like that analogy?
Yeah, strong.
All right, cool.
It's a strong analogy.
There we go. That's what's up.
We've had quite a ride down the river, haven't we, pal?
We have indeed.
It's been like, for those of you that,
I know this dude since he was called Potsy P.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it
I don't know. Does anyone
97 or something?
Right,
98?
yeah. I don't even know how many people know that, but that was Kel's original name.
Yeah.
And it was outside Bongos. And then I remember this vividly.
Yeah,
and he was part of the 360 physicals. Oh no, actually, did the 360 physicals come after that?
It was all.
Or was it kind of all at the same time?
Okay,
so because then you was beatboxing. You go, did you get this? And I was like, I was one of the first people hearing beatbox.
Yeah, it's absolutely straight up. That's legit.
Yeah,
because he was Brighton boy originally, right?
Yeah, that was there for three a bit years.
Yeah. When I first met you, was down there.
That's right. Yeah,
Concord 2 and all those places.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because you was up the road from Horsham and that.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. But I'm from Aylesbury originally, but I moved to Brighton in '97. Yeah. Whoa, that's like 21 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Don't do it. Don't do it yourself. Don't do it.
I know.
Golden times that was, wasn't it? You know, when you think about like
a lot of community. There was a community structure around there. Back then communities focused around various spots. So one being record stores.
Yeah.
Like-minded people, like into their music, into cool stuff. Just gravitated obviously towards a record store.
Yeah.
Depending on which genre, but in this example was Mr. Bongo's, which was it was a fantastic hip hop store, which I was blessed to end up working there after I met you.
You did.
Yeah. So I was there for a minute, and then and then also clothing stores like Bond, which became hangouts a little bit after, really. Because it's like when Bond moved to the corner of Newburgh Street and they had the bench, that's when it happened. Before that, it was at the other end of Newburgh Street and it was just had a doorway and that. No one hung out there. But yeah, it was record stores that really sort of set the foundation. That, Deal Real, they were the spots.
What's the spot you worked in after Bongo?
Oh, Major Flavours.
Major Flavours, yeah.
That wasn't really a hangout spot, but mad DJs came through there.
Yeah, I always found like that, and Wild Pitch as well.
Yeah.
This was all like in a
Wild
concentrated
Pitch,
Soho area, wasn't
Uptown
it?
Records, Word to Ronnie. And Woody, they held it down there. Not DJ Woody, other Woody.
Right.
So many Woodies.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson, there's bare Woodies.
Toy Story.
Yeah, exactly. Toy Story Woody. Yo, yeah, respect Toy Story.
Respect Toy.
Oh, yeah.
He was not the DJ. Just as a clause in the bottom of the comment section, it was not the DJ he's talking about. It was all in a concentrated area, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Soho.
exactly. Yeah, so you had the little microcosm going on. And the amount of record stores that were in that area. Whoa.
Yeah, Black Market as well around the corner.
Yeah, Black Market was there, then Daddy Cool was there, Phonica.
Still there, Phonica, right?
Afterwards, but still there. Sounds the Universe, before that was known as Soul Jazz. Scenario, which I went to after Major Flavours. Selected Disc.
Selected Disc, yeah. Selected Disc was one of my favourites, actually.
Yeah, Reckless.
Yeah, Reckless. Reckless was cool, but the thing is about Reckless was I always felt like...
The Music Dance Exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catch a Groove before that. Whoa. There's a list, actually. There was a whole list. Kubler Records, which was on Berwick Street for a minute.
Wow.
Then there was...
you're losing me now.
There was the House one as well, where JP worked, other JP worked, where like DJ Harvey used to go and all that. Oh, crap. My mate Dan worked there. I'm just trying to remember what the hell it was. Vinyl Junkies. Was it Vinyl Junkies?
I can't remember. These names that you're popping off now, some of them I remember being in Hip Hop Connection, this magazine, the UK magazine, Hip Hop Connection, and at that time, and Represent magazine, the other.
Oh yeah, I remember Represent. Yeah, that was a
Fat
good
Boss,
magazine.
those sort of magazines.
Yeah.
Well, you'd find in like most of those record stores, but I never was connected to them record stores until I was at least until like 98, 97, 98.
Yeah.
Before then, it was more about going to Brighton and Worthing. To pick up
Okay,
records.
cool. Yeah.
Which is funny. That's where I met DJ Crafty Cuts.
Oh yeah, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to like me saying this, but I knew I was going to bring it up when we was talking about this.
Or did you get HVR Records?
No, it used to be Across the Tracks, the one in Worthing.
Oh right. Okay, I never went there.
Yeah.
Then didn't Across the Tracks move to Brighton?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And then it kind of, I was an offshoot of Deal Real, I think. It became Deal with Mex and that.
Yeah, I remember. Mex had Black Grass, but Mex worked at HVR with Martin. That's where I met the both of them.
Right. So this was like this was
Guys in Mex in years.
Yeah, I know.
What is he doing? That's his government name. I don't know if he wants anyone to know that. Just
like Kish knows all the government names for real.
Eradicate that.
Yeah. We'll put a beatbox sound.
Yeah.
effect on it.
We're like, it's going to be a big bleep kind of thing going on. Yeah. So I met Mex and Crafty at HVR before I moved to Brighton because I was going out with a girl who was going to uni there, and basically. I was always up for the hunt. Where I went, whatever city I go to, I always explore. I have to know where the spots are and all that kind of thing. So in Brighton, I was going there on the weekends, on alternate weekends. I just scope it out. So the 145 store, which Ed ran with with Scratchy Kurt and Cy and Joel and everyone, do you know what I mean? Was a hangout spot. That was a hangout spot. I'm in Brighton. That was on Sydney Street, and yes, you had that, and you had HVR Records. No, was it HVR? No, was it HVR Records? No, I don't know if it was. Was it? Yo, we'll have to text.
Yeah,
text Martin or Mex and just go. Yo, I think it was HVR though.
I have to hit stuff in the comments. That'll do the job.
They'll get. But anyway, it was the record store they worked at. Yeah, and that's where I met them. Do you know what I mean? So before I even moved down there, then I moved down there in '97. Which is kind of mad. It's kind of mad getting to know somewhere before you even get there. It was the same deal with London, though. I was coming up to London on the train from the early, and I got to know so many people before I even moved here. Because I moved here in 2000, but I'd known people here since like the early 90s. I was going to Bongos when it first opened with Hugh and
when it first opened?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when Hugh and Kev Beadle were behind the counter, you know what I mean? And then they had the Latin store, which I never went in the Latin bit at that stage. I only went in the Latin bit when afterwards when I worked there on Poland Street when I moved there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of it was kind of dope. But yeah, so it was just the two of them holding it down behind the counter. And the other spot I used to go was Liberty Grooves.
Liberty Grooves, yeah.
I went there, met loads of people. I've got to give a shout out to my bloody hell, I've got to text him actually. I've got to give a shout out to my man Cy, aka Fusion, who was the original Fusion before T-Max Infusion, and Fallacy Infusion. There's Fusion, who was one half of Silent Eclipse with MCD.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
MCD, man.
No, MCD, he's still about.
Is he?
Yeah,
you sure?
Yeah, he never passed. MCD never passed.
Are you sure?
About, yeah.
Okay, you see him recently?
I ain't seen Darren in years. But no, he's about.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Stand corrected.
Yeah. No, MCD ain't passed away.
I'm always quick shout out. I mean, you come from like such a. Yeah. You've grown into the scene. Like when I think of Kish Kash, I think of somebody that's very much part of the tapestry of the UK hip hop, the urban scene. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're such the go-to guy for transatlantic based connects as well as European, but also. I always come across you in Soho. I always bump into you in random places.
That's the heart.
That's
the heart of it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, when I was coming up from Aylesbury as a kid, that was the first place I went to was Soho. Everyone did. He was trying to get the latest sneakers, trying to get records, trying to get comics as well. Mad into my comics. So I'd go to Forbidden Planet when it was on Denmark Street.
That's right.
There was another store round the back in a dark alley which had like mad old ones for cheaps, which was super undercover. Not many people knew about it, but there was that. And then later on there was Top 10 Comics in St. Anne's Court, which was co-owned by Paul Gambaccini and Jonathan Ross at the time.
Damn,
yeah,
that's knowledge.
Wow. And then also on the Virgin Mega Store, this is going way back, which was on the corner of Tottenham Court Road, which at the time was the biggest record store in the world. The Fantastic Store was inside there, which they also had another Fantastic Store on Portobello Road. So I used to get on Portobello Road on the early, this is like the 80s, when it was ghetto as hell. Slam City Skates was there as well.
Slam City was a spot,
on
man.
Road.
I used to love that place.
I was underneath. What's that record store called now that used to be in Covent Garden as well? It was owned by beggars. Oh my gosh, I should know.
Hey, listen, you're doing well already, dude.
Rough Trade, man. Rough Trade is still there. There's one in the East, and still on Talbot Road. It's still there. But Slam City Skates used to be underneath. used to be underneath Rough Trade on Talbot Road.
Jesus.
So there was all this going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to know where to go and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
It was a kind of
crazy. But I got to shout my boy Robbie, because Robbie was a principal. I grew up with him, and he was the producer in Caveman, right? So he was the principal in Caveman. So I mean, a lot of us in Ellsbury.
As in the rapper Caveman.
As in the group Caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the whole 9 yards.
So MCM was the rapper.
That's it.
Robbie, the principal, was the producer, and Diamond J was the DJ.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. So them two. So it was. I think it's Julian. I never really knew that kid, but Mark and Julian, right, were from High Wycombe, right, and Robbie was from Ellsbury, where I'm from, went to my school. So a lot of us who hung out in Ellsbury and were mates, we heard him make the album in his bedroom. So that was kind of mad. So then what happened was that what happened was that Robbie, he was the hottest shit. His beats were like, way advanced, and he was the best producer here in this country at the time. And everyone wanted to work with him. He was hanging out with Outlaw Posse, Bello, KG, and all that lot, and he was swapping breaks with them. He was Giles Peterson, was having them on the show. Westwood was having them on the show.
Great.
It was just mad times, right?
Golden.
Yeah. And how I met Silent Eclipse, right, was because Robbie was asked to, work with MCD. MCD hit out to Robbie and was like, and then Robbie was going, "Yo, you heard of MCD?" And I was like, "No, who's this kid?" And he goes, "I think he's the roughest rapper that's in the country right now." And he's a rough MC, he's proper. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm gonna do something with him. So I went to Monroe Studios in 90, was it? I think 99, no, 91 maybe. I was at the bottom of Holloway Road at the time, and this dude Hank used to run it. A lot of stuff was produced in Monroe actually, but basically, so yeah, I drove us to Holloway, and then I was at the sessions where they did I think it was the Damned EP. It's a classic. So yes, and that's where I met Fusion. Then Fusion was talking to me about it. I was going, "Where'd you buy your records?" I go to Red Records, or which later became Unity Records on Berwick Street, where I first met Ronnie, who I ended up working for at Major Flavors. And Kenny Boots was behind the counter as well. And that was a spot. Groove Records, then Groove shut down, and then it turned into Sound Source. The dudes, Ben and Ben, I think it was, and Rhythm Doctor, I think it's Chris Rhythm Doctor, set up Sound Source in Covent Garden on Monmouth, I think. Yeah. And then they moved it to Neal Street, and it was moved about a bit. But anyway, that was one spot. Catch a Groove, where Destiny and Matt White worked, who later became mates, which is kind of mad. Just mad, yeah, because they used to be record counters, man. They used to be the safest place. Having a breakdown, dudes behind the record counter, because they were in a position of importance. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wanted to be there.
I could never really tell whether I was being liked in them places.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like such a young whippersnapper of 18, 19, right. Rolling in with like £6. I'm like, I need a 12-inch. What have you got for me?
Exactly. Exactly. Solar Records in Brixton, which was there was Red Records in Brixton as well, but Solar Records was actually in the tube station in the bit that you go up. You go down the steps, and it was there. On the left, I think it was, as you walk down. Can't remember. But anyway, Solar Records was there, and that's where I bought Tim Job from Compton in '91. So yeah, I was there with. I was there. I actually went there with Danny Lasco, who was Robbie's younger brother. He was the break hunter. That's how Robbie got a lot of his breaks, because Danny was.
He had his secret weapon.
Yeah, he was like a sniffer dog for breaks.
Madness.
Crazy. The amount of breaks that we had, everyone had access to before they got known, was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a fanzine that Psy Creators did, right? Because Psy was I don't know if he's from Wickham, but he was living in Wickham at the time. I don't know if he went to uni or college there, but so Psy from the Creators was in Wickham, and he was doing it with my schoolmate's older brother, Brian. So there's my dude in my class called Redmond Garvey, and his older brother was Brian Garvey. So Brian and Psy Creators did this fanzine. It was way ahead of its time. We're talking. This was next level. This was next level shit. Yeah. And it was a black and white thing, listed breaks, and it was.
I miss that shit.
It was like Wax Poetics. It was like Big Daddy magazine, but like way before. And it's like a little fanzine, and they listed. They were talking about breaks that everyone else found later. Do you know what I mean? Robbie had them. Mark Priest, my G, who was the original DJ in Caveman. He was, I think it's called DJ. What was he called? DJ Messiah. I think he called himself. DJ or DJ. Was he called? Well, he used to write Fade, but I can't remember. Anyway, so he left the group anyway. When because so Priesty left the group, left Caveman because who was actually signed to Profile, even though it was a 3-man group, the people who were on the deal were Mark and Robbie, because he was the producer and the rapper, so the DJ was like employed by the group.
I get that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I always
which is unlike Run DMC.
No, yeah, I remember seeing Caveman videos and stuff, and I just naturally assumed that Caveman was the one person.
No,
I didn't realise it was free.
No, it's a 3-man crew.
Do you mean?
Have a look at the covers.
Yeah, I've seen them all. Yeah. I know, but it was just a dynamic. I mean, as a kid, I was, I picked up that, and I picked up Gunshot, and I picked up some Far Side, and there was always groups. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But there was something about their pictures that suggested.
I think what it was the cover of I'm Ready, and actually no, the cover of the first 12 I think was just Mark on the front on his own. I think that's what it was. If I was the manager at the time, I would have vetoed that.
Yeah,
definitely. No, you can't have that.
Definitely.
But, whatever. I mean, the artwork is a bit, do you know what I mean? But anyway, that was Profile. They were the first group to sign to a major, and Profile, at the time was actually one of the major labels because, Run DMC, Special Ed, 9 was on there afterwards and so on and so forth. It's a big label.
It's a big label.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I remember hearing...
I think Sweet Tea, who else was on Profile? Rob Bass and Easy Rock on Profile. I can't remember. But anyway, what we're saying is like being on the same label as Run DMC. That's it. Boom. End of. Done.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? It was like there was a big thing. So so we met MCD, and then so then I was buying records from Bongos then as well. So I think it was like 92, 93. 93 is when yes, that's right, because that's when I went to Liberty Grooves for the first time in 93. I met Shorty. I met Big Ted. I met Mark B. I met Julian, who later became a part of the Creators.
Which, at this point, I must stress
Brotherhood.
What you're getting right here is the history book of knowledge based on the UK hip hop scene from about 92, 93, right away to this point here. Like some of this stuff is completely new to me. This is gems, complete gems, as you'll say.
Yeah. But yeah, it was mad. It was mad because the whole thing was like, so I was buying records in Bongos. It just opened up. I think I was buying records from Bongos in 92. Oh, Tower Records as well, and Piccadilly Circus. I was on the spot to get stuff. There was loads of record stores. But yeah, it was just like a community thing, and then you meet people, and you boom, 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 and you're just like it's like a domino.
Yeah, it's right. It's right.
Bam, bam, bam. So
it's an association.
Yeah. So I meet Silent Eclipse in Monroe Studios. So I'm chatting with Simon, DJ Fusion, and then it's like, it's like do you know about this store record? Where you're buying your records? You go, do you know about this store, Liberty Grooves? So I'm like, no. So he takes me down there so I meet everyone there. Gutter Snipes. I ended up putting out the Gutter Snipes record. I ended up financing.
Time Cuts was Gutter Snipes, wasn't it?
Yes, right. Okay. I met
DJ.
remember meeting Remy Ruff at Liberty Grooves in '93. I met a lot of people. I met the Brotherhood there. I met Ty there. I met a lot of people. Sniper, Principal Mark. There was a lot. Lee Lawrence, I met him there. Crazy guy who had a list of records. I was like, I don't even know what this is. And he was talking about Mike and Dave records and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, those. Like that. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was like a real knowledge bomb.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Because, you think then you realise, no, there's some levels up.
Yeah.
And this is all about the evolution.
Yeah.
It's all about learning, it's all about educating, it's all about making sure, and making sure people know the history.
Dude.
That's the important thing. Because history is getting rewritten right now. Yeah. Even though we're in the age of information, accessibility and everything, there's people out there, I don't know if it's a malicious thing or if it's just an ignorant thing or whatever, but the thing is certain chapters and certain things are being deleted or not recognised or whatever. And it's kind of important. It's vital. To the understanding of where we're going, to know where you've been at.
Of course, yeah.
This is the thing. History's so vital. It's your foundation.
I would say, I would go as far as say is that as far as UK hip hop concerned, I mean, this isn't the first conversation I've had about this, which is interesting. But but in terms of history and UK hip hop, for most people, the buck stops at Kalashnikov, and maybe at Push Harry Love with the production. But there's so. You're missing like decades.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, when you look at drum and bass, for example, drum and bass started through hip hop. Yeah. all that fast rap stuff was what, and the dancing was getting mad intense and stuff. And then when stuff started slowing down, there was dudes who just wanted it to continue and get faster. So that's where the schism happened. Like DJ Hype was originally a hip hop DJ. Zinc was originally hip hop. I mean, all these dudes, the early pioneers. Goldie kind of jumped into it. But my boy Conrad, who was MC for Bookham, right? He was originally in Triple Element with Silver Bullet. You see, this is the thing.
Know that.
Yeah, so
No
Conrad grew up in Aylesbury. Bullet was in Leighton Buzzard up the road. Do you know what I mean? So I used to hang out at the McDonald's that I worked at in Aylesbury. So the thing is that the whole posse, I don't know if you recall the Normski picture of Bullet outside, I think it was the NatWest building, yeah, with the posse around him.
Yeah, I do.
All of those guys, I know, they're from Aylesbury.
Shout to Mr. Normski.
Yeah, word up to Norms.
My doggy.
So, yeah, what an ill photographer. He needs to do a book.
And again, another...
his photography is one of the things.
I'm going to get him in.
He's got to be in, but I don't know why no one's approached him to do a book. You've got Glennie Friedman books. You've got George Dubois books. You've
completely
got,
agree.
You've got these seminal photographers, who've done some incredible incredible things and iconic imagery of US rappers. So, Lawrence Watson, he's another one, but he's English, but he's done his one. Adidas were backing him. But the thing is, why hasn't Normski got a book? Because his images are some of the most seminal images. And,
he's an unsung hero, man. I swear to God.
Very true.
Paul
H, he needs to do one as well.
Paul H.
Word to Paul H.
Hip Hop Connection, Paul H.
Yeah, totally. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of dudes out there who got some sick photos. But yeah, I think there needs to be that.
Archiving what you're saying is
and also putting it into something that collates it and is accessible, and people will find it not just fascinating in terms of historic perspective, but also entertaining.
Yeah, man.
And also, so you can see how shots are composed. You can see what's been worn, why it's been worn, how it's been worn. And marry that up with the music, so the music and the style collide.
Dude, you and me share a very same favour for fashion and clothing and stuff. What's in our armoury that we're lucky for is the fact that we were there in the 90s when it was.
There you go.
You kind of see things, but like you say, if it's not been documented, how is style going to reinvent
exactly.
itself?
It wasn't just all about the Face magazine. It wasn't just all about ID magazine. It wasn't all about that. There was so much. I mean, there's a lot of dudes who still. Oh man, I remember this to the day. So I remember the Face magazine one. I think it was the Face magazine where you got the dudes wearing mad baggy jeans and pin rolling them and stuff, and wearing and wearing Vikings and other stuff like that. And I remember they were Harlesden crews, right?
Real.
But the thing is, we were looking at it, right? Because Aylesbury was mad connected. We were only like 45 miles away, and it was like literally less than an hour away from London. All the trends, man, we were up on that. When you see how everyone was dressing back then, we were just on the same game as what was going here. But yeah, there was some things where it was just like. Yeah, we ain't wearing that. Do you know what I mean? But the thing, that was the thing. I guess that was a tribal thing. But the whole thing is you had to flex differently.
Exactly.
You had to have your own little twist on things, because if you were doing this stuff, as the same as the next man or the next woman, then you was biting.
But that's the
cussed out.
That's the hip hop prototype.
Because it was like, get your own ideas, do your own thing, don't steal my shit. Which is kind of what brings us to now, because there's so much conformity going on.
I know, dude.
And I'm just like, why do you want to look like your mate? Unless you're in a breakdance crew and you're a rap crew and you're on stage, or you're a crew and you want to roll deep, why do you want to all look the same, wearing the same shit? I don't want no one wearing my shit. I don't want anyone wearing the same stuff as me.
I know. Sometimes, sometimes you really... Not that in any way I'm defining my fashion sense as in any way maverick or anything, but, when I go and get dressed, I like to kind of think that I play a part of the wider tapestry of London, and making a conscious decision to put something on. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to widen the net a little bit. I'm going to fucking go for it.
That's right.
I kind of like
that.
And
then you want to push it. You want to evolve, and you want to inspire. How do you inspire? If you're doing the same thing as the next man?
Always.
That's not inspirational.
I mean, I'm not going to say no brand names like Supreme or anything, but it just seems like everybody will go straight to that.
The thing is, I've been wearing Supreme, since like 98, 97, 98.
Yeah, I remember from time.
Yeah, I'm one of the first dudes in this country wearing it. I wasn't the first. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to see, but I've got to give a shout out to Kurt, who I was hanging out with him in Brighton. He was the first dude that I remember wearing Supreme. He had this.
What decade was that?
So this was 97. He was wearing it 97.
Right.
Yeah, and Supreme started in 94. I'll give you a little backstory on that in a sec. But the thing is, was that in 1996 when I met Kurt, I can't remember how I met him, but I met him anyway, and he was wearing this navy hoodie with Supreme in flocking in block letters. I was like, yo, that's dope. Where'd you get that? Blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember where he got it from. I think he might have either got it through either from Bond, because Bond was the first store to sell Supreme in this country, which they should get their props, and they don't.
Yeah, I agree. I
right?
agree. I remember seeing it there.
Yeah. But yeah, they had it. But he may have got it through Gimme 5 because he worked at the 145 store.
Too.
And yeah,
Michael
Coppelman might have gifted it because he's a very generous guy. The trousers that I'm wearing now are from Michael. This little Stussy numbers. But yeah, so I mean, it's I think that's when I first remember seeing Supreme, and I've been wearing it 20 years. But the thing is, things move and the goalposts, shift, and it's that whole thing where something was underground and you're kind of holding it onto it so dear and you want to protect it.
Yeah,
but eventually
it does go.
The secret gets out, and then it's boom, and it's out there. Now, I've always been an advocate of it's not what you wear, it's how you wear it.
Absolutely.
But when you're seeing a lot of people wearing the same shit, it kind of just like
dilutes the whole thing.
Dilutes it a little bit, yeah. So I got to take a bit of time out and get back involved.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then it's like, okay, cool. You guys are doing that. You're getting your e-props or whatever, your Instagram likes just by wearing the latest Supreme outfit head to toe, or matching it with Palace or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm like, all right, cool. You do that, cool. That's nice. But I'm taking it over there.
So
you're not going to see me, I'm going to be wearing stuff that, I don't care if you like it or not, but I know it looks dope. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's got, because I've already put the levels on, and I'm taking it to those levels over there. And so are other people.
Exactly.
But
what about, I'm going to extend this debate. Yeah. I've never professed, I skated when I was younger, but I've never been a skateboarder.
Same.
If I'm honest.
I can skate, but I can't skate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you rock a Thrasher top. Where does that sit in the...
Well, the thing is, right, the Thrasher thing, right, I used to read Thrasher magazine. It was one of them magazines bought religiously as a kid.
Absolutely. Even when you weren't into it, you just knew it was part of...
Just the dope photography, just knowing what's going on in the scene that you appreciate. Just like football, you know what I mean? There's people out there who don't play football but love football. And they want to talk about football till the end of the earth. But I love playing football, so that's a different one. But but the thing is it's exactly the same conceit. But Thrasher is such an iconic logo.
It is, yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's one of those logos, and people are wearing it because they think it looks cool. They like the look of what it, and maybe what it says. Thrasher. They might not know the history behind it.
Is it an attitude? Is it the attitude of of decades and decades of what it stands for? Now suddenly being like, there aren't really any bona fide young rock and roll bands or metal bands that used to, but people wearing the t-shirts because it projects an attitude. Yeah. Is that what it is?
Well, there's that, or there's just people who just literally go, oh, I like the look of that, so I'll wear it. Now, hopefully, you would want some people to investigate further and go, oh, what is that? Okay, and then ask questions. And if you got one person asking a question, that's great, because the seed has been sown.
The tastemaker begins.
Yeah. So and that can percolate through the fabric of the culture. But that's all you need. You only need that one person. So it doesn't matter if there's 999 people out of 1,000 who just buy it because they like it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you get that one person who's then going to be that teacher and take it on and then
tell its story.
Tell the story. That's the key thing.
Because it might be their pops that are giving them the
there you go. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yes, I mean that there's that. It's like when people are just wearing Metallica t-shirts or Black Sabbath t-shirts. Do they know anything about the band?
Probably not.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But you don't know.
But it looks cool.
It looks cool. It's just it's so ingrained.
It's like the New Order cover.
Yeah.
No, the Joy Division. Is it the Joy Division?
Joy Division.
Yeah, the Joy Division. Yeah.
Lines.
Exactly.
Totally,
the Peter Saville graphic. Yeah, so that's iconic. So when
I guess we can get a bit pompous about this sort of stuff, can't we? You just got to let it go.
So when you go into Uniqlo and you see Cause doing collaborations with Peanuts and doing the Cause Snoopies and stuff, it's a collision of something that was kind of niche and kind of cool hitting something mainstream. But
I really like that too.
Exactly, and it's affordable, which is a key thing. So that's kind of cool, because it's done with an honest conceit.
I'm going to move it on a little bit.
Same with Keith Haring and the Basquiat stuff they've had there. Uniqlo is quite astute when it comes to what it's doing, and it does play due reverence in a way.
Uniqlo, I find that interesting. Yeah, I do. I find them a very interesting brand. It's
it's well made,
totally,
and it's cheap. And how they do that, I don't know.
Colours were ahead of its time. The kind of the cut.
Yeah. I think right now, you could argue that Uniqlo is like the new Gap, because Gap was the one that sort of dominated in the late 80s, early 90s. Definitely in the early 90s. It's one of those sort of things where it was a staple in your wardrobe.
Yeah, you're right.
And then maybe Carhartt came in a little bit, but not to that level. But,
I do miss my car. I do miss my old school Carhartt stuff.
Yeah. They still do some really good stuff.
Yeah.
It's just staple stuff. But yeah, Uniqlo's kind of, that's that one. Everyone's kind of got a Uniqlo bit here and there.
And they got it as an influence, whether they know it, don't know it or not.
Yeah,
it's an influence there.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on a little bit because so I don't know it's by your trade because you're a bad DJ as well and radio presenter. But
Thank you. I don't know about DJ skills. I'm not good. I don't practice. But selections, I hope I got it down.
He's been around long enough to see other people do it. He's a bit like me.
Man, you know what I mean? There's some proper people who know how to DJ. Do you know what I mean? And just like blow me away.
But I just want to get into this sneaker thing because one thing that people cannot touch you on is and for me this is actually your first trade. I think is the sneaker thing.
Well.
Like, I just see so much content of sneakers, and you know so much about that scene.
Well, yeah, sneakers for me it's football and hip hop. That's what it is. You just got to
them two together.
Them two together, exactly, because that whole collision happened right back then over here. It's like basketball and hip hop in the States.
Yeah, that's right.
In New York. They had the street basketball. It's the sport that you played in the street. Football's the sport that you play in the street here. Both involve balls in a different way, but super fun, super involving. They all have their, with football, you have to have a pair of trainers to kick the ball about. Started off in shoes. I don't know how the hell that happened, but anyway, when I got my first trainers, it was a revelation. You know what I mean? It was like, whoa, this is really what you can do when you've got a pair of footwear that works.
The 4-wheel drive suddenly kicks in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's right. I was like, oh my God, it's a whole new level. But it's all about looking steezy. Terrace culture, casual culture collided with hip hop culture, and that's why we got a unique expression. That's why Britain, for me, in terms of world style, is right there at the apex, at the top, because it would reinterpret and it would spit out, and then it would feed it back.
Totally.
So that's the thing. And it would have influence. Britain would have influence on the style of the whole of Europe.
How many sneakers you got?
Don't know.
How many rooms for the sneakers have you got?
A few.
But
it's hip hop. But the thing is, I got more records than I have sneakers by a million miles.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, you went to record stores.
Yeah. Music's my passion. If it came down to music or sneakers, music. I'm not going to have a silent world. Do you know what I mean? I walk barefoot and I have my music. That's the
silent,
key
I
thing.
get you. I like it. I like it.
Music is like the rhythm of the universe. That's what it is. Expressions. Man. So
But I think we kind of grew up on that. Absolutely. But we grew up on this the connectivity between fashion, shoes, and music.
Yeah.
Going back to Normski with the dance energy stuff, he always used to have a clothing section.
That's right.
A fashion section.
That's right.
And you had your Carl Kanais, didn't you? You had your...
Yeah, I weren't so into Carl Kanai, but I know what you're saying.
You had that, but then you had Jordan.
Colours. You had Jordans.
Jordan...
Yeah.
Jordan
was the pinnacle. Having an Air Jordan
was a peak, wasn't it?
Was the statement.
Yeah.
Right? It was, this is the best shoe by the best player. Mm-hmm. So the best basketball player is wearing this shoe, which makes it the best.
Yeah.
And they look damn fresh as well.
And I'll have them, please. Thank you.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So,
and they've always been expensive.
Yeah. Totally. They were the most expensive, definitely by a long shot for a long while. Subsequent basketball shoes came out that were more expensive, but
I used to like the white ones rather than the black, because they used to have two different types, didn't they? The white and the black.
They used to be the home color and the away color. But for me, it was always black. Yeah, because basically, in the 80s, most shoes were white with a colour pop.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So when you could get a shoe that was black with a colour pop, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is some steez. So the thing is, and Jordan got banned for flouting the uniform rules. his footwear got banned for a minute, by the NBA.
No way.
Yeah. The
Didn't
reason
know that.
now, obviously, you can wear whatever the hell you want on court, but he was the groundbreaker in terms of that, and Nike were, and they really ran with it. But yeah, it broke the uniform code because I think the shoes, the colorway of the shoes needed to match up with the uniform. I can't remember what it was, and it had to be predominantly white. So when he came out with the black ones with the red, the breads, as they refer to now, which I hate, but anyway.
See, that's sneaker terminology.
But yeah, so it was he kept on getting, he received his fine here and there and stuff until stuff got worked out. But Nike ran with it, and and now we have.
I think it's done all right, isn't it? It's done all right.
It's done all right.
But he's had worse companies.
I remember when I came back off holiday in '89, I went to the States to see my family there in Houston, and I came back with the black Jordan 4s, and no one had seen that shoe. And I was walking around, I was going uptown in London, and I've got all the record stores, and everyone's going, "What the hell are those?" and all this kind of stuff. The year before, right, Robbie came back from New Music Seminar, because he went to the New Music Seminar, which used to go in New York, where you sort of networked and connected, like South by Southwest, but in New York. Do you know what I mean? But hip hop, and there used to be MC battles, and there used to be DJ battles. DJ battles were organised by Clark Kent, called the Superman Battle. Awesome. And then you had the MC battle as well, where Melly Mel battled Mikey D, and Mikey D beat him, but then Melly Mel got all salty and walked off with the belt, and Melly Mel's a big dude. You don't take your belt back off. Yeah, there's all that kind of stuff going on. He came back with the Jordan 3s, the black Jordan 3s.
Okay.
And I remember when he came back with those, everyone was like, "What the hell are those?" And it was like, you couldn't buy them. You could buy them in 4-Star General on Carnaby Street, right? And George wanted £250 for a pair, and this is '88. Right? It's £250 at 88. Yo.
No, it's not happening.
That's lottery money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there was that going on.
Is that what spurred it? Was it this kind of like the ambition of like imports and having the identity, the individuality?
You wanted to wear something first.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you wanted to wear something that no one else had.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You see queues even now at the Supreme shop in Soho, and there is that attitude. I do appreciate that. That's
that
sort of thing.
That attitude.
Yeah.
Being first has always been like that props giver.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things of that time that really held the mantle in the same way sneakers did. I remember there was that dream team at the Olympic Games. I can't remember what year it was.
That was 92.
Because I was never allowed to watch.
That was 92.
92?
Yeah.
I was never allowed. I never had...
that was like the best basketball team ever
dude, it's just the best. Right, for those who don't know, I never had cable or anything back in the day. So this came to the Olympics. It was the dream team. There was like, I can't name them. There was Ewing.
Okay.
There was
Pippen. So you got Jordan, you got Magic Johnson, and you got Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Okay, the three of the best players ever to play the game right there.
Yeah.
You had Pippen, you had Charles Barkley, you had Chris Mullin, you had John Stockton, you had Karl Mailman Malone. And then who else was in the dream team? God dang.
You said Barkley?
Barkley, I said Barkley. Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure we got them all.
Not Ewing? Ewing wasn't in it.
Excuse me?
Was Ewing?
Ewing was there. Yeah. The only one who was an amazing player at the time who wasn't there was Isaiah Thomas at the Detroit Pistons. And the reason he wasn't there is because everyone hated him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was called Little Magic. But the thing is, the Pistons
crowd.
played, I think Dennis Rodman came. Dennis Rodman, I don't know if he was in the dream team. I think he came a little bit after.
This hit the Olympic Games like...
But yeah, this was the
Olympic Games.
This was like having Pele, Maradona, Bobby Charlton, Franz Beckenbauer, Messi, Ronaldo, do you know what I mean? And Zidane, all on the same team at the same time.
Yeah.
The best players of all time
Ever.
on one team.
Yeah.
I was like, forget it.
I swear, I'd go to school and like you'd see the things that they were wearing on the court, and it's like, okay, so we're at that, All of a sudden, I'm,
Exactly. I think Hakeem was Hakeem Olajuwon on there. Dikembe Mutombo. I can't remember if they were on there. They might not even been good enough to make that team.
So much bad in one Olympic Games. I actually didn't watch anything else.
This was the pinnacle. This was one of them sporting times. And the thing is, they had the shoes.
Yeah.
And the shoes were like white, blue, red, and gold, like the Olympic colours of the USA team.
Smashed it.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
the Team USA jerseys.
Yeah. I wonder how much a set of them jerseys go for now.
God knows. If you had them signed as well. Ooh.
Oh,
it's
just
gonna be money.
killer.
Yeah, right. It could be like next to this bad boy.
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, totally.
You know
Ed Tizer loved that.
Where'd you get that from anyway?
You know what?
Hey, what's going on? Did you get blood? What happened?
No, I just kept it in for like, for just antiquity value.
What is the? What was that? Your tea?
I don't know.
Did you spill
No,
your
it
tea?
wasn't tea. I think it was beer or something. It was something like alcoholic. I actually, the last time I wore it was at the breakdance championships.
Okay.
And I kind of vowed not to wear it again because I didn't want to wreck it.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally. It's that thing. You're retiring it. It's like a retired
Yeah,
jersey.
it's up on the thing. Yeah, totally.
I feel that. Do you know what I mean?
But
That's kind of mad. The mixer thing behind there, the new Mark one.
Yeah, man, that's
So that's from the DMCs.
Yeah, that was when I was with Scratch Perverts in
in
New York. I self-funded myself to go to New York. They didn't even know I was going to play. And then I jumped kind of Tony Prince and Sally, and I was like, "Dude, I've come over here. I paid my own flight. I want to perform at DMC," and they gave me a slot.
They should have refunded you the money for the flight.
And they did that too. Totally. They got me in for the whole weekend, and I haven't left 12 years on.
Wow, that's mad.
Yeah. You got to make your props, haven't you? You got to make them.
You got to make the opportunity happen. If the opportunity isn't happening, make one happen.
Make one happen.
Yeah.
Which is really what this is about. And it's a privilege having you here, dude.
It's a privilege to be on, mate, man.
Done the thing.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? We rolled in on that.
Roll in it, yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the Kish Kash.
Are we done?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man, I could talk to you for time, bro. All right, cool. That's what's up. Yo, peace and
Hey, we got
blessings.
room for another one next time. Stay locked
I
on.
want to do another one, man, because we only just skimmed. I feel.
Oh yeah. We're just tapping into the.
Yeah, we only just just sort of etched the surface.
Dude, we got so many backstories of how we bumped into each other and done things at different times.
Yeah, we haven't even spoken about LA.
Yeah, I know. Now that was random.
That was so random.
I'm in this Mr. Black's, right, which holds the school night events. I can't remember which road it is, but it's on a Monday. Anyway, they have these kind of big nights, a lot of gay nights and things like that. And I'm in there. It's a late night flex, and I'm there. It's heavy house and stuff like that, lots of funky house and all that going on. And it's
Was
like,
this in LA?
This was with you. And then we're walking.
I don't remember.
Yeah, totally. And you were with that Tammy girl, couple of other people. But I didn't know you were there. And I just walk in towards the toilet, couple of mirrors, and I see you in the mirror.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck are you
Probably
doing?
the best way, really.
And then we just kind of
won't turn to stone.
What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's just like the most random place.
Right.
Compass Point.
First time I've ever been to LA,
First time you ever been to LA?
and the only time I've been to LA.
Dude.
I gotta sort that one out. But yeah, I know.
Yeah, you need to get back over there.
Yeah, definitely.
There's all those sneaker shops in Melrose.
There are. But the thing is, sneaker shops have got all generic now. I mean, trying to find those sort of like little gems and stuff's getting harder and harder. Because as you said, as we touched upon earlier, you used to be able to, if you went to America, you'd come back with stuff that wasn't available here.
Yeah, like breaks and things like that.
Yeah,
rarities.
yeah. And clothing. And sneakers, because there'd be releases out there that you couldn't get here. So that's what kind of differentiated it as well. So you'd not only be the first, it'd be like, whoa, what are those? Where'd you get those?
Yeah.
Serious times that
thing.
happened. It was just like boom, and then you're flexing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay.
It's the online thing, isn't it? I think maybe the online.
There's that, but also because a lot of the big corporations and companies, just for ease of management, shall we say, just want to release the same project, the same sort of models, etc. In the same in all the territories.
Yeah,
it's kind of, but you still get pockets where certain people haven't bought into that or haven't bought into that, so you can still do it a little bit, but it's become more homogenized, and that's one of the things that's sort of affecting this culture. It's like when I strive for individuality, and you're living in a world that's like
don't like individuality.
No, it's all about conformity.
Yeah. It's getting worse as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then you're getting, the whole co-opting of the culture. Then you're getting a whole load of people coming in who are not paying due reverence to the culture, and the people who helped shape the culture. That's a problem. I mean, in sports, for example, if you get, say, like Wilt Chamberlain coming to a game, like I went to the NBA game last week. And I went to see the Sixers versus the Celtics. It was a fantastic game, one of the best games I've seen. Before the game, 5 NBA legends came out, and the whole crowd cheered them.
Yeah.
Dikembe Mutombo and Robert Parrish were the 2 prime examples. Who were like legends, you know what I mean? And they came out, and the sport paid due reverence, paid for them to come out. These are ambassadors for our game.
Yeah.
Their achievements on court should never be forgotten,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we pay due respects. But what is happening now, with even hip hop, and even with the sneaker scene
Yeah.
and with the clothing scene,
Yeah.
the people who helped shape that,
Yeah.
aren't
I'm
getting the
recognised,
props.
yeah.
And that's messed up. But the thing is, it's not a sense of entitlement. It's a sense of, look, everyone's kind of done their thing here, and you're here because of that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it would be kind of cool if you didn't dismiss it and weren't so flippant to push that out.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And go, wow, because you gotta know the now. To know the now, you gotta know the where.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how.
yeah. And the movie industry tend to embrace,
Totally.
So
Exactly.
why doesn't music?
I think the higher arts do generally. No, the music generally does,
but not hip hop.
but not so much with hip hop.
Why is that? Is it because it's deemed disposable?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
There's a massive schism in terms of like all these new kids that's come in, but they don't know the history about it and they've got no inclination to find it, which is a bit worrying. But maybe it's because there's so much coming out, they don't have the attention to go back.
I think that might play a part in
It
it.
might play a part in it.
And remember, like some of their point of references. Here we are. Some of the point of references that they go through as being their old school, people like Soulja Boy, 50 Cent, and I would argue that 50% of the things that they deem as old school ain't the coolest thing in our minds. There's an old school snobbishness to that new school, which is their old school.
Yeah.
So there is that real kind of divide that takes place.
Exactly.
Do you know
I
what
don't know
mean?
when this schism happened. I've discussed
Yeah.
it quite a lot, but there is a schism that's happened, and it's like, there's this. It's almost like there was a nuclear war, and then boom, this is like the post stuff. But that didn't happen.
I think that was the internet, though.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
that's what it was.
Maybe it was the internet.
Maybe the internet.
But maybe it
was
was the advent of social media to the degree of what happened. I don't know. But you are getting a lot of people who are now just like in terms of marketing, like some of the brands are so lazy. It's like that person's got a zillion followers. Let's give them some stuff. Why? If they're corny, you want your product to be associated and become corny. As a result, protect your brand.
But not only that, some of the numbers ain't going to be fact.
No.
They're not going to be real.
No.
So I don't know.
No,
Yeah, I know
exactly.
what you're saying.
That's it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, hold on, we live in a world that's even more superficial than it once was. I thought it was pretty bloody superficial back in the day. It's gone next level superficial.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
That aspect of evolution is actually to the detriment of the culture, as
I agree.
opposed to giving it wonderful sort of expression and growth. And for not saying the right reasons, for benevolent reasons, should we say?
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
But the thing is like when you got people marketing, just and trying to solely focus on youth, for example, and going loud or old, it's like, what? Do you mean why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very lazy. You should concentrate on all aspects of life.
That's right.
So if you've got a product, if you're not telling the story the right way to that demographic, it means you ain't doing your job.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Don't say this is for the kids. Why the hell is it for the kids? Do you know what I mean? Star Wars is a movie which essentially back in the day was a kids movie, but adults loved it. Everyone loved it. You don't see Star Wars being solely marketed towards kids. They're doing it to the kids, and they're doing it to the fans from 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
That way, more people are involved. The more people are involved, that means there's more money, right? I don't know. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking.
Music in general has had a massive positive leg up in terms of the platforms in which you can make music a commodity.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like little pots that you just collect, and then it becomes a bigger pot. So you got your Spotify, you got your SoundCloud, you got your YouTube.
That's right.
All these things. I think that for music has been a huge benefit.
Yeah.
But
the legacy of MySpace, basically.
yeah, you can have your own scene. Like I was talking to my
Yeah,
mate.
like High Focus, for example, right? Alex Jennings and the guys, they got their hip hop label. They got massive
There you
subculture
go.
around
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They're selling thousands
Exactly.
of records.
Yeah.
They do it without any any radio play.
Exactly.
Which
You
is
can
amazing.
you can make this thing happen, which is amazing.
Yeah, and the mainstream media don't recognise that.
No.
But it's happening. But this is the key thing. I think this is the failings of right now. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of focus on real sort of clickbait fluff pieces. But when some real shit's happening, no one's really reporting it. And the thing is, if no one's really reporting it, once it goes or once it evolves into something else, you've only got the people who are there who will remember it and be able to talk about it. So it's vital that those
absolutely.
people talk about it.
Yeah.
And it does get recognised. So when
Absolutely.
you're looking at Hypebeast and High Snub, we got the latest 2 Chainz. And we got the latest, Future record, and we got the latest Travis Scott, all these people. Great, that's good. I like some of them records, but at the same time, Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you focusing on your West Side Guns, for example? Why aren't you playing Rock Marciano? Why aren't you talking about this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's bubbling.
And here, okay, to give you to give you another another example. Yes, great. Stormzy, Jay Huss, and Skepta, and all those guys are just like levels. Yeah, boom, great. Gigs and Kano and that. But why is no one talking about High Focus? Why is no one talking about the underground rappers here? This is the thing. It's kind of criminal. Why is no one talking about Ash the Author? Why is no one talking about Jungle Brown? Why is no one talking about these artists?
And what's crazy is like the drum and bass scene has not gone anywhere. It's massive. Yeah. Like you go to raves and it's just packed out. Yeah. And it's kind of like the underdog to many degree.
Yeah.
But it's still. You don't need that kind of... This is what I was going to come to. Is like, you don't need to be selling yourself out.
No.
That's what it is. No. Like, if you're selling yourself out in 2018, you're missing a fucking trick. You don't need to be...
You're compromising your integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of people out there who will compromise their integrity to make money.
You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that.
It's the lazy way, but there's a lot of people out there.
It's a cookie cutter way. Yeah. But
and there's a fair weather friends as well. They'll be your friend because you can get them put on and you can do something for them and la la la. And I'm just like... Yo, man, seriously. Have a little bit more. So anyone who's done me a bad, I'm like, okay, cool. I ain't gonna follow you anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Integrity, man. Yeah, it's everything. It's key to.
And just because you're cool with next man, blah blah blah. I'm like, and I'm gonna tell everybody, right, that use if anyone goes to me, what do you think of Black? I'm, man, that person's a chief. That person's a fuck boy. That she's an idiot or whatever. Why the hell am I gonna big you up? I mean, you did me bad, so I'm gonna say what you did. Yeah. That's the thing. And it's kind of it's interesting because people forget. I know a lot of people, but there's other people who also know a lot of people. And so if you're doing bad by them, what do you want to be? What's your legacy going to be? Everyone's going, oh yeah, I did this, and this, and this, but also did this, and this. Do you know what I mean?
It's as a character reference. You just go, exactly. And it's not like anyone's policing you the way you are. You'll come out in the wash. No. The cream will rise. You just got to make sure you're cool. Just be fucking cool to be cool. That's what
exactly.
Noel Gallagher said. Be cool to be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's right.
Anyone's.
I don't know, but that's how we do, man. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
Cool to be cool. Just be chilly chill.
The man himself, cool as a cucumber, cold as ice.
Bless.
The man.
One love.
Kish Kash, Killer Kel's podcast. Stay lucky.
Peace.
Look after yourselves. How's that? All right. Fucking great, mate. Done well there, mate.